Hi there, everybody. Guess what? This is that wonderful experience that you get once in a while. That tiny little shiver is going up your spine. It's almost like that moment when, the lights go dark in the cinema and the curtain starts to rise. It's the beginning of the tarot show. Will I have chosen your question? Out of all the questions, because I get loads of questions coming through now. It's absolutely wonderful. Keep them coming through. The email you send your request to for the tarot readings in the tarot show is quite simply nickdutchtarot@gmail.com. Do not leave them in the comment section. Do not send them through by private message on this particular video blog. Do not do it. Send it through by email to nickdutchtarot@gmail.com. That is the method we're doing it right now, and it's starting to work out nicely. Everyone's getting into the swing of it. It's all kind of like working out in a good, orderly manner, which is what we've always wanted. I'm just going to crack on and get on with the readings, but before I say anything else, don't forget to subscribe, because I'm not going to tell you when and where your reading is going to appear. You've got to be a subscriber to watch the show to get your readings. Basically, that's the way it works. This is the only place where I give away free readings, so use it. Okay, don't exploit it. You can use it. Remember, I do this for a living, over the telephone, over the internet, and there'll be links somewhere around for you to be able to get to those pages, or indeed just Google for Nick Dutch and I'm sure you'll find me. Okay, here we go. Okay, firstly we got Pearl, who's curious about her financial situation getting better. Here we go, using the standard method, combination of tarot and anything else that comes through. One moment please, here we go. Okay, what I've chosen to do here, very standard chronological spread. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. Still the Book of Thoth Tarot. I know, I really must upgrade it, but never mind, we're sticking with what we got. Okay, now, the way I see it, there's a bit of a story emerging here. It's all bit by bit, basically. Very short-term future, still more plans to go through. Now, the very short-term future, the first 2 months from now onwards, is not showing signs of tremendous, financial increase right now, is it? No, not at all. So, essentially, you don't need to anticipate something tremendous happening straight away, because it's not there. Alright, it's more a question of more planning, more preparation, more making sure your mentality is in the right place to get some good results. Keeping dedicated in a very passionate way towards where you want your goals to go further on down the line, okay? So that's 2 4 months, okay? Maybe your things not quite being where you want them to be. And then after that, and as a result of your planning and preparation, maintaining a discipline and dedication, okay? Discipline is apparently a very important thing during your short term to help you maintain your survival, work out what you can spend your money on, what you can't spend your money on. And then, hey presto, the financial reward coming through with the Ace of Coins there, nice and strong, making me feel that, yes, this year you're going to see a turnaround. I'm not going to promise it for you straight away. It's a very difficult year for a lot of people, but this is a very optimistic reading. Following on from there, I think what we got here is some signs relating to reflection mainly, because your middle sign happens to be a water card, okay, and I think that's the way it's portraying you. The Queen of Cups being sensitive, intelligent, thinking backwards, okay, looking back over the past, and also trying to delve deeper and deeper into your own well of knowledge, your own mind, to try and work out why things went the way they were. And then you've got signs relating to, understanding like the negativity, the oppression, the stress, the strain, the strife, literal strife that you've been going through, and also try and heal yourself from where you were to where you want to be. That's essentially one of the most important things we've got here, dealing with the past once you're back at the level of survival, which you will be, because life's a journey. It's also a very complex journey, okay, and that's why you need to have times of going back and reflecting, which you will do when you're back there, on target. So at the moment, maintain your focus on getting successful. Then when you are more successful, then you can look back and do the healing. But I don't think you can necessarily do that right now. Of course, you still need to do your personal self-development as you're moving further forward to where you want to go, but it's still one step at a time, okay? Okay, Ashika, here we go. Right, so let me get this straight, okay? You've got this connection with this guy, there's been all kinds of complexities happening, and then there's like this feeling of, oh my god, it's not going to happen, but you want me to see whether something will happen, or can happen. Well, we'll just have a quick look and see, because obviously at the moment it's all a bit like, whoa, you know what I mean? So, difficulties abound, but on the other hand, there could still be prosperity here, so we'll just check it out bit by bit, see what's coming through for you, as is traditional. Okay, at the moment, the main energy here, I mean, this is like, this is the first 5 cards of the 8-card relationship reading. And I'll hold the cards up, because like at the moment my table is such a tip, I don't think you want to see it right now, but never mind. Your side of the reading. Okay, desire for change, knowledge that there's a connection, very romantic feelings, but also you got your toe in the water, because you're not really wanting to get your heart too far deeply involved in this situation. On their side of things, this is a self-doubting individual who likes to try and keep things light and fun. At the moment, the energy between the two of you being defined by the 8 of Cups, which is sometimes called indolence, is referring to an inability to move further forward on both sides of things. So fear and anxiety seems to be weighing over this, to the point whereby you're not sure whether you should make a move, they're not sure whether they should make a move. There are apologies which need to go both ways, and there's growth which needs to go both ways, and you're not making it. Neither of you are taking responsibility over that. When basically you need to start moving further forward bit by bit, to the point whereby you can discuss the finer details of this whole complex, like screw up, moving further forward into the future. Okay. So it's going to be tricky for you, but I really think that you've got the capacity to do something good about this. Onward with the next one. Okay, Sherry, here we go. Was that pronounced Cherie? I don't know. Okay, you just send me the letters and I make a word out of it. Basically, whether I'm getting the right pronunciation, the wrong pronunciation. But on the other hand, there's people in my own country who say I don't actually sound all that English. I've even had people telling me to go back to Australia. I don't come from Australia. I really don't think I sound Australian. I seriously don't think. Anyway, that's enough about me. Let's focus in on yourself, because you're the one who's requested the reading today. So here we go. 8-card relationship spread. On your relationship, whether it's going to stay, whether it's going to go, whether it's going to be good things, bad things, indifferent things, we don't know. Oh, it's so exciting. One step at a time. Okay, fortune between the two of you. Peace, tranquility. But it's not quite as hot as it used to be. Something has made it cooler. There is a sense that something has made this cooler. But there's also a feeling of there being communication and further communication opportunities within this one particular relationship on their side of things. These are the cards on their side of things, okay? Desire to try and make it successful. But it's a question of how that can actually be done. Now, on your side of things, you're finding this hard work. When there was good connection going on there, you found it hard work, you found it difficult, but you found that there was some connection going on, so you wanted to just carry on focusing on maintaining that, basically. But unfortunately, this is not an individual who was very good being open and forthright and all the rest of it with this situation. Progression into the future, difficult. I don't think you're going to get much progress straight away. I just don't see it. I can't turn around to you and say it's going to be, I just can't have people giving me requests and then me turning around and saying that it's going to be perfect every single time, because that's not life anyway. And anyway, you've got a complex situation with him, and I think it's going to come and go. It's going to be off for a short time, then there's going to be something there, an attempt to try and make it work. And when that time comes, that's when you put the extra effort in, and the extra effort has to be on your personal transformation and growth as well as on theirs. Okay? But some potential, yes. But that'll depend upon how you integrate when the midterm future time period comes. That's the way I'm seeing it. Okay? Okay, Trisha, now you've got a boyfriend who's got an ex, and you want to make sure that you and him are going to be okay, but the problem is that he's previously had, feelings for her during the time when he's known you. Right, so you've chosen to give me a nice easy request today, haven't you? Yes, of course you have. Right, okay. People don't tend to think too much about how, the reading question is going to affect me. But sometimes it can be quite difficult, it naturally depends upon, the kind of questions that are being asked, but it can be like, oh my word, I feel your pain, if you get my drift. That's often the way it can be, but let's have a quick look, okay? I'll focus in on you and him. If there's a feeling of him being with somebody else, then essentially there'll be a message of that type or some similar message on his side of the reading, which fortunately for both you and me, we have not got. Okay, I think that we can safely say that she is in the past. The energy between you and him is much to do with continuing a bond. There's still a bit of a feeling that I'm getting of there being some distance, but it's not something which is totally insurmountable. I would suggest that you can probably get some progress in the short-term future. Alright, but even though you're going to have a good connection, there's still going to be a feeling of there being something not quite right, which will carry on for a little time to come. But I feel that you can carry on. The final card there being the Hermit is talking about going towards the goal, and if you carry on going towards the goal, the long-term goal will basically emerge for you. The energy that the reading is giving me is in fact quite positive in general. So your side of things, when it's a major concern for you that you think he's with her, you don't want to get involved because you don't want to be a cradle snatcher. Okay, that's one of the reasons we've got signs of thought and caution on your side of things. But on the other side of things, you want something good to happen, and so there's nothing wrong with actually being so proactive that you might possibly be even being a bit of a pain to him. But I wouldn't actually be too concerned about that, because he's got the passion for you, but he's also crap at doing anything. Okay, I've got no signs of him wanting to be with her. And I mean basically at all. There's, the reading has been clear and plain about that. The connection is between you and him, without the shadow of a doubt. Okay, Kim Palmer has been inquiring about number 23, which apparently carries on cropping up in her life. Some people believe that when there are some numbers which carry on reoccurring in your life, there is some kind of message associated with it, which can have some kind of karmic connection between two people who carry on appearing in each other's lives or lifetimes. So number 23, if that particular hypothesis is correct, could mean that you've got some kind of like past life connection with somebody about some particular period in history, which was like really, really, really important, which is a possibility, but it's not necessarily a direct certainty, if you get my drift. Okay? What does number 23 mean irrespective of that? Number 2 means duality, yin and yang, forces being opposites of each other. And also talking about how the universe tries to establish balance, but also remind us of the responsibility that we have to try and maintain psychological balance and not necessarily go the way our instincts are driving us, if you go back to the original mysticism, that is. The number 3, on the other hand, obviously that's a connection to Trinity, different forces being in balance again, but the model is getting more complex. Okay? And it also speaks about the 3 main states of matter being expressed in a spiritual sense. It's much more of a spiritual analogy, rather than necessarily being to do with any particular natural force expression. Okay? 2 and 3 put together becomes Kabbalistically reduced to the number 5. The 5 speaks about the 5 elements, namely the 4th plus the 5th being spirit. It also speaks about your 2 arms and your 2 legs and your head. And it also has another connection to the 5 wounds of Jesus Christ, being the whipping on the back, being the nails in the hands, nails in the feet, sword in the side, and crown of thorns on the head. And there is Christian mysticism about each and every single one of these things. So it can speak about holism, it can speak about sacrifice, it can speak about every single part of your willpower being dedicated to a goal, it can speak about giving to other people, being supportive and loving. It can also be an expression of holiness. Alright? So, a reason that number 23 could be coming into your life could be to do with suggesting that you yourself need to basically get back to your own spiritual and religious roots and to try and find something which can ground you and can make you feel whole, but you have to do it by yourself. Okay? It's also a message that you might have a message to provide to other people. Keith L., you're someone who says you're not lucky in love, but you want to know about the next relationship. Okay, so essentially that's really shown me something, hasn't it? That showed me that you've got the capacity to actually be optimistic enough, to be brave enough, okay, to contact someone you've never spoken to on a face-to-face basis ever in your entire life, namely an online fortune teller who's doing his little tarot show, okay, just to find out whether there is anything which is going to happen for you in the future. Now, you must have some confidence that there's something special about your life. Otherwise, I don't think you'd have the confidence to do this. So, first and foremost, don't think you've got low self-esteem because of all the bad things which have happened in your life, but realise you've actually got some optimism there. Use that energy when you are moving forward for your next relationship. Let's have a quick look and see what the tarot says. Sorry, I just had to interject with that little bit there because I just wanted to show you some, there's extra aspects to the wisdom of a tarot reader, you know what I mean? I'm not just someone who knows the symbolism of the cards. You can spend your entire life learning the symbolism of the cards, and if you don't know the symbolism of people, then essentially, you're not going to be very good at a job, let's just say that. Alright, now you're concerned about the next love, so we're moving away from the 5-card or 8-card relationship style reading, but it's still keeping it within the subjects of love, but it's a 6-card progression following on essentially from your question. Right. Okay. This reading points out one thing to me, and one thing is coming through very clearly, and that is you're a very self-analytical individual. The 8 of staves at the beginning of your spread there seems to suggest to me that you spend a lot of your time trying to forgive yourself for things you've done in the past. Well, have I got news for you? You're all under the eyes of a singular, loving, all-forgiving God anyway, so you've already been forgiven. Don't worry about that and start thinking about who you are now, the way that you think in the here and now and today. Be grateful for how much you've changed and think about moving further forward. Because otherwise you can get yourself so immersed in your own personal history that you ain't going to be open to other possibilities, and you won't notice those possibilities when they actually come for you, when they come your way. So get your priorities straight with the way in which you're thinking and the focus of your thinking, because I think there's already people around you who've been giving you that little look to suggest, that he's a bit special, you know what I mean? But I don't think that you've been noticing it, because I think you've been thinking, oh, I'm just nothing. And I think that's one of those things that gets in your way. And all of that I just got from that first card there. Alright, because that's one of the things it's talking about in this particular context. Yes, it can speak about forgiveness. Yes, it can speak about tolerance and acceptance and understanding and learning and healing and breaking things down and all that solve coagula type stuff. You know what I mean? But on the other hand, it's got something else for you there. Progression into the future. Alright. Next 2 signs we got, they're both in the cup suits. Okay, we got the 3 of Cups, very strong mercurial sign, still thinking about self-analysis, but also self-healing. So essentially I think you will go through the process of learning acceptance, that there's things you need to sort out for yourself. And then following on from that further forward, we've got the Queen of Cups speaking about a female energy coming into your life. So my message about this reading is you've got to change the way in which you're looking at things to be able to get the results you actually want to get. Okay? But it's going to be alright because that energy is there for you. Maybe it's late spring, summertime, a new love is coming. I'm not telling you who they are, I'm not telling you what they look like. Because what they look like is a person who's got that look in their eye. Alright? That look in your eye which you look at and you think, no, they can't be thinking that about me. But they are. That's what they look like. That's what they are. Progression further on from that. Responsibility. The Lover's card does speak about moving on with somebody who you love. Following that, good signs relating to wisdom and stability and compassion there, with a sense of longevity in terms of relationships. So you do have a lot of good stuff to look forward to there. It is going to happen. But remember, what they look like is someone who's given you that facial expression and you're thinking to yourself, no, they must be looking at somebody else. Okay, Apricus. You want to know whether you're going to have a second chance. Let's have a look and see basically what the reading says. Obviously very, very big, important question. So let's have a quick look and see basically what the reading says. Bear with me a second, please. Okay. Yes. Big, exciting time there, okay? Big yes. The sense that the reading is giving me there is that of blending your energy. Now, you tried to be there before, you tried to blend your energy before, it didn't quite work out according to plan. Why not? So there's something going wrong with the way in which you were thinking about the whole situation. So you moved apart from each other, and now you got a chance to heal the gap and become bigger and better and stronger, having grown older and wiser. And that's essentially what the reading is suggesting. Their side of things, fun, recreation, vision, direction. Your side of things, passion, determination. But that's passion and determination, which was subverted because of misunderstanding. And that's what it's all about, misunderstanding. So forgiveness will have to go through in this connection so that you can progress. Short-term, mid-term and long-term future. Not looking bad. Good signs of change further on down the line. In the short term, slow progress. Going to be a bit frustrating. Won't quite know whether you're coming or you're going, you know what I mean? But there's still this feeling of there being something around the corner. So I'm not too worried about your longer term future. I think you will get that second chance. Endu, you want to know whether you're going to meet a nice man. Well, you got to think about, you know, whether it really is a nice man that you want, or whether you're actually prepared to settle for something slightly less. Or indeed someone who's a little more of an interesting character, maybe. There's a great deal of variety of men out in the world, and I'm sure you'll come across someone. It's just a question of when and what they're going to be like. That's the issue, isn't it? So let's have a quick look and see what the future, what the fates, what the tarot, and all the rest of that wonderful stuff has got to say. I don't know why I said the fates then. I don't actually believe in fate. I believe in choice. I believe in wisdom. I believe in reading or feeling like the energy and vibes from people, if you know what I mean. But never mind, let's see what we got here. Why have we got so many readings today that have got plenty of signs relating to lack of self-esteem? It's like they all sort of come at once, don't they? Have you noticed that with previous tarot shows that we've had? We'd have like one day when it's all the men, and one day when it's all the women, and one day when it's all love, and one day when it's all finance, and all the rest of that. There's always like one particular theme which each show seems to develop all by itself. It's almost as if the show has got its own spiritual essence, okay, its own thoughts and feelings. And it's all being defined by the questions which are being asked, all being defined by the cards which come out, and all being defined by the interpretations I get. A fear of failure is with you. But that's only a fear. The signs are reversed. It's not coming out upright. So what's going on there? We've got signs of miracles being worked in your life. The Prince of Wands represents the Archangel Michael, doesn't it? Doesn't it, okay? And that's the one who is a warrior for God. It's the good angel of death. There's a bad angel of death and a good angel of death in some biblical mythology. And that's the good angel of death who fights off all the demons of negativity and unpleasantness. So that feeling of failure being reversed is only a feeling of failure, not a real failure. And you're being given the confidence by someone which defeats that to help you to basically get the results you're after. It's, if you can lose your lack of self-esteem, you'll be able to get to where you want to go. It's just another. You've got to work out why you're feeling the way you are. What in your past has actually made you this way? But actually, don't dwell upon that. You know, you can look back, but you don't have to stare if you get my drift. And see basically where the rest of your life can actually go. Now, my reading has come out with a sense of change, but you've got to change your perspective first. Alright? Now, there is a lot of signs relating to love in your reading. The most important one, I would say, will be the moon. Because that's essentially talking pure and simple about romance, and romance for you this very year. Kooky Mookie! Hello! How's it going? Alright, you want me to read about N. Let's have a quick read about N and see what's coming through. Okay. You're in a situation with this individual whereby there is some conflict. There is some fight about some particular major issues which is basically going to be holding you back bit by bit. On his side of things, he wants to have a new beginnings, but he wants to have that on his own terms, but he hasn't thought through the needs on both sides of things. He's a very loving individual, yes. He can be a very driven individual, yes. But he's also a very self-centered individual, which is needed to be for his career. The practical aspects of life and the relationship is essentially dominating what's going on between the two of you. So, the progression into the future, quite erratic. Do I see him contacting you immediately? No. There's a bit of a feeling of disappointment. You will be disappointed with him first, prior to everything else happening. The signs on the future, right, the mid-term and longer-term future, there we go. Stability and balance, which is what you've been trying to get from him, because he's been imbalanced, because he's been thinking about other things. Has he had any financial turmoil recently? Well, what am I talking about? We're in a bloody Great Depression, aren't we? Of course he's had some financial turmoil. But essentially, he's the kind of individual whose ego gets even more hurt when he's going through some bad times than the average individual. So, there's something bad going on with with his situation somehow with it, but that's not really necessarily something to worry about. Okay. Islanderm, you're curious as to whether you'll live in the US again. And basically, you know, when and where are you going to meet your future husband? Let's have a quick look. Let's just focus in on the idea of moving to America. So we're looking out for wheel symbols, movement. The chariot would make a lot of sense. Some water signs would work well here, but also those to do with air and fire would be like more paramount, if you get my drift. Okay, let's have a look. If you are, you're not doing it immediately. There's no real sense of you moving to America straight away. Okay, I'm just not seeing signs relating to that. I know it's a bit unfortunate, but don't worry about that. It's not the most important thing, because the reading has come out with love signs. Okay, I think what you got to do here is to prioritize. Okay, prioritize what's most important to you. Now, if you end up moving because of your career, then you start your search for your relationship in the area that you moved to. Okay. Because I think you need to prioritize, keep focused, as well as obviously you want the relationship to occur. I think it's going to happen, but I also feel that you've got to get perspective on what you want to happen first, when you want it to happen, how you want it to happen, and all those other fine little details prior to anything else. Really, I really think you should be thinking along those lines. Okay? Tishana, you've got a great relationship with your boyfriend and you want to make sure it's going to like stay together and all the rest of that kind of jazz, and it's all rather complex at the moment, and Nick, help! Well, I'm here, so relax, it's all going to be alright because I'm here and I got my tarot and everything's going to be absolutely fine. That's right, here we go. Bear with me a second, please. Right. I don't see a major problem. I see lots of little problems. I don't see a big major problem. On his side of things, he can get a bit depressive. He's a bit too cautious. He focuses on other things, and there's some things he can't quite open up to you and say. That causes unhappiness on your side of things, because you don't think you got the full spectrum of knowledge which you would like to have from him. You've got a feeling of an instinctive knowledge of him, because essentially you've got that love feeling for him. But you don't necessarily have the next stage of loving feelings which you want to have, which is basically like, yeah, everything's like totally successful, which I still think is going to occur or can possibly occur. So, you know, it's not necessarily a negative thing. The energy of between the two of you is divine, okay? Pure and perfect love, nice. That's nice, that's nice, that's nice. You've got a good foundation, you need tolerance, but you also both need to be doing the next right thing for each other. So some convergence will be required. Let's expand the reading and make sure it's going to go okay. Alright, but just like convergence of goals and all the rest of that, the nature of the connection, so to speak. Here we go. Now again, not looking too bad. There's nothing in those signs that gives me cause for concerns. There's going to be moments of it working out okay, and bit of, you know, between euphoria and slow frustration. Stay together, try and keep into a routine, let each other know what each other's routine is, okay, and spend time together, eat together, and all the rest of it, because that's essentially, you know, what will be required, basically. But it doesn't look bad. I think you're well suited. I think you're well matched, and this is a positive reading. Okay, Masters, you've asked before. I'll give you a very quick general overview and see what's going to happen for you. Okay, energy the reading is giving me is that you need to try and keep very career focused. I mean, that's essentially the main goal for you. You are a good person, you're instinctively a very good person, and a very spiritual individual as well. I get this feeling of you not needing to be told about, you know, spiritual matters. You've got an awful lot of that instinctively. But a change of perspective could be useful to you when, you know, just to move away from things you want to achieve for yourself and move on to things you need to achieve, because your working environment, your relationship, none of these are going to be totally perfect. And you've got to just do a bit of tolerance, okay? A bit of tolerance in the short term. You're going to be alright, but essentially a bit of tolerance in the short term would actually help an awful lot. The feelings that the reading is giving me is very open, very geared towards further development. And yeah, I would say there's a lot of happiness there, but you still got to think practically. And practicality in the short term is probably the most important thing for you. that will be the last reading of today. If you want your reading request to appear in the tarot show, then what you got to do is to send me through an email to nickdutchtarot@gmail.com. Alright, don't send me War and Peace. Don't send me like 22 pages of information of what happened to you when you were 2 years old, or keep relatively focused. A bit of basic background, yes, because that helps me to hang my impressions upon, or gives me something to hang my impressions upon, I should say. Alright? Give me a question, and give me a name, and ideally a date of birth as well. And then that will help me just to focus in and try and get you to decide a little bit more in the way of pinpoint accuracy that you require. Remember, a tarot reading is legally billed as an entertainment service for good common sense reasons. Okay? And as a result of that, it's worthwhile using it as part of your creativity or contemplation process, or to use your tarot readers as a form of amateur counseling, which a lot of people do anyway. And also to do it for a laugh, for fun. Okay? It's actually fun to have readings. So if you want to speak to me live, telephone, internet, whatever, links will be down in the information section of this particular video. And I will look forward to speaking to you again soon. And don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, favorite, and share, because that's essentially really, really, really important. Well, it is for me anyway, Okay, I've got a big ego. I want my name to spread worldwide, and so the whole world can see what a really, really good tarot reading is about, and what a really, really good tarot reader is about. Because obviously there's people out there in the world who just, they're just not as good as me, basically. You know what I mean? They just don't quite have like the professional Nick Dutch flair, if you get my drift. So, oh, I am cheeky at times, aren't I? Never mind. I just hope you had fun in the show. That's all. You know how to get your requests through nickdutchtarot@gmail.com, and I look forward to speaking to you again next time. God bless.